So, on today's discussion, I would like for you guys to join me for a little bit of a deep dive. We're going to go through the product lineup here for Ernie Ball Music Man guitars. There is one very specific model that I really think needs to be talked about. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, starting off, I just want to say Ernie Ball Music Man, as we all know, absolutely phenomenal, high quality, top shelf, worthy brand. These guys put out some incredibly phenomenal instruments. Beautiful roasted necks. We've got great neck heels, beautiful colors, finishes, stainless frets. I mean, all the high-end appointments you'd expect out of any like custom American brand. So it goes without saying, I mean, we have a high level of respect for these guitars. Now, with that being said, as a guitarist, I think you guys hopefully would agree, we oftentimes fall into one of two categories. We have kind of more of your modern guitars and we have your traditional guitars. What I mean by that is modern stuff, usually you're going to have 24 frets, going to have typically like your humbuckers, sometimes more like ergonomic designs, things of that nature. And then the traditional guys, I would say often are more typically single coils. A lot of times you're dealing with 22 frets, might have a slightly smaller fret size, so on and so forth. So for this particular example, let's just say the person is going to be in that modern camp as far as what they're looking for with these guitar features. So let's just say we want comfort, ergonomics, and we want 24 frets. I'm okay with humbuckers, single coils, HSS, HH, whatever the case may be. We're just looking for those two main things. Again, a comfortable body shape as well as 24 frets. So let's briefly just go through some of these models. We'll kind of identify these in terms of like modern or traditional. Starting off with the Axis, 22 fret, no body contours. We're going to call that one the traditional. Sabre does have the dual humbuckers, which is pretty nice. Again, still a 22 fret. This one has a flat top, doesn't have any kind of like modern ergonomic contours or anything. Cutlass, super nice here, kind of more of like your traditional Fender Strat style. Does have some really nice round contours, sits well against the body, but again, we are basically like a Strat, just a 22 fret. Stingray, another one. I've had one of these guitars before. They're pretty comfortable. A little bit more of like, I guess you could say kind of an offset shape there. 22 fret once again. Couple other popular ones here. We got to look at the Petrucci's. You got the JP15. I think that's pretty self-explanatory for the Petrucci fans. Then we of course have the Majesties are really nice. We also have the Jason Richardson, which again is kind of basically like a modernized version of a Sabre. You see it's got that extra carve on the body there. And you also have a 24 fret neck. So kind of more geared towards the modern guys. Then here we are looking at the Music Man Silhouette. Now, this guitar is very interesting to me for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it is Ernie Ball Music Man's first production guitar. It's been around for a very long time. And it's also really the only model in the lineup that I would consider to be modern configuration in terms of all the comfort, like rounded body contours, very comfortable, very ergonomic, but we also have 24 frets. To me, the Silhouette really stands out as a bit of a gem because from what we're looking at here with the entire product lineup with Ernie Ball Music Man guitars, really, if you're a quote modern player, which like I said, if you want 24 frets, you want some modern ergonomic body shape, you basically are forced to purchase a signature model guitar. You're either getting a JP, Majesty, or a Jason Richardson. And to me, that's just not really the best marketing strategy because you have to understand that while signature guitars are an important part of the business, they make some fantastic products. Nothing against those guys, phenomenal, legendary players, but we just have to bear in mind that not everybody is going to want a signature guitar. Some guys, myself included, I've never been a fan of another dude's name on the headstock. That just kind of, just not really my cup of tea. I'd have to really, really be a huge fan of that particular player to feel comfortable buying a signature guitar. Again, that's just me. So again, with the Silhouette, we do have the Silhouette as well as the Silhouette Special. The Silhouette being the 24 fret version. I'm always a 24 fret guy just coming from that modern world, Schecters, Ibanez, Jackson, LTDs, so on and so forth. Now, it's going to be subjective, of course, depending on who you ask, but I do feel pretty strongly that most modern guys are going to prefer the 24 fret configuration. I'm big on ergonomics. That's something that we talk about a lot on this channel, and I like those comfortable rounded body edges. Now, I did have a good friend of mine own a Music Man Silhouette a number of years ago. I was always very impressed with it. It was a super comfortable guitar. The only thing that kind of pushed him over the edge where he decided to let it go was this particular Silhouette was configured with a Floyd Rose bridge, which I'm just not a Floyd Rose guy. He wasn't either. A little bit outside the wheelhouse there. Had it been like a fixed bridge or like a vintage style trem, would have been no problem. So aside from that one particular option, I love the silhouette. Again, super comfortable body shape, 24 fret, very nice guitars. So after just running through that basic list of models, again, this is really the only one that stands out to me if you want to go modern, but you don't want another dude's name on the headstock. So you're probably like, okay, well, you got your answer there, bro. Like, cool, we got the silhouette. What is there else to talk about? Well, there's kind of some concerns here, guys, because it looks to me like the silhouette has kind of faded away. It looks to be like an endangered breed over here. I mean, looking at their website, their only option they're showing is the snowy white, and there doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of supplies out in the wild. Taking a look on the Sweetwater website, you can see they do have basically just one option here. This was a Pacific Blue Sparkle, which was a Sweetwater exclusive. Beautiful looking guitar. I do wish it was a roasted neck. I think that would look a little bit more appealing. This one just having like that standard natural maple. No problem. Perfectly fine either way. But you can see they've got a couple in stock, but that's really it, guys. Very, very limited supplies out in the wild for silhouettes. We'll go and hop on Reverb here, see what the market looks like. And again, still looking pretty lean. We have a Pacific Blue Sparkle here. That Snowy Night we talked about. There's a couple like solid colors. This Crazy Koa one, that looks like pretty one-off, pretty rare. A couple more on the vintage side. Here's one from 1988. A couple other older models. We've got some from the early 2000s, from the 90s, so on and so forth. I believe the one my buddy had with the Floyd Rose was also made sometime in the late 90s. So basically my point is, it's very unfortunate to me as a modern player who would like to have an Ernie Ball Music Man guitar that's not a signature model, that there are such a slim supply of silhouettes. So I'm just trying to figure out like what happened with the silhouette, guys. What happened? Did it not perform well? I'm just very curious to know, like, what do you guys think about this? I mean, considering that it was their first production guitar, I would like to think that just from a legacy standpoint, they would want to keep this model alive. I would love to see some further developments, bring some life back into this dying silhouette guitar. But I don't know, very strange to me. I do get asked some questions about Ernie Ball Music Man from time to time. I have owned a few. I've had a USA Axis as well as a Stingray. I've got a friend of mine that's got a Family Reserve Stingray bass. Like I said, my buddy had the silhouette. So I've definitely been around the brand. I've had a chance to try out a couple of their different models, and I've always been very well impressed. Again, phenomenal instruments, great craftsmanship, excellent features, so on and so forth. But really for, again, the modern player, it just seems like the silhouette really checks all the boxes. I would love to get my hands on one. If I could find one for a fairly reasonable price, that definitely might be something to add to the collection at some point in time. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about the Music Man silhouette? Have you ever played one? Have you ever owned one? I just don't feel like we really see a whole lot of discussion about these. Again, options looking extremely slim on the Ernie Ball website as well as Sweetwater. So I don't know, guys. We'll just have to wait and see what the future holds. That's going to wrap it up for this discussion for today's video. Be sure to hit the video with a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Have an awesome day.